Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto was Tobirama's grandson and had ice release. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Life in the Shinobi Academy has been very interesting for the blonde Senju. Naruto was doing well in his studies thanks to no small help from his friends, Kakashi and Enko, and even a few study sessions with his sensei, the third Hokage himself. Naruto knew that by having more people in his life makes him feel more complete and cementing his resolve to become Hokage. You can't be the Hokage when you don't know the people you are leading or protecting. He was already close with the next generation of the Inoshikacho, but that doesn't mean he shouldn't try to have more friends. The blonde Senju would even make friends with the biggest outsider in his class. A boy who is constantly covering half his face with his high collar jacket and wears a pair of shades. He is considered the most quietest boy in his class, always keeping to himself, and sometimes Naruto even saw him playing with a bunch of bugs. Naruto recognizes the unique quality and knew that the quiet boy is part of Konoha's most mysterious clan, the Aburame. They are one of the noble clans of Konoha. At birth, members of this clan are offered to several special breed of insects as a nest, residing just under their host's skin. These insects will then live in symbiosis with their host from that point on. Because of this, its members are characterized by their use of insects as weapons. So that's why to most villagers, they are always so grossed out by its members, and would occasionally keep their distance. But Naruto wasn't most people. The blonde Senju decided to introduce himself to the Aburame boy. The Aburame was completely surprised by the blonde's sudden genuine friendliness towards him. He didn't treat him like a freak, who is not only antisocial, but plays with bugs too. Instead, he invited him to have lunch with him and his friends. The Aburame boy was hesitant at first, but decided to trust the blonde Senju. He introduces himself as Shino Aburame. Naruto has a good feeling with Shino, and knew they could be good friends. Despite his overlogical thinking and lack of social skills, Naruto is still friends with Sakura, despite knowing the pink-haired girl's major crush on him. He knew Ino would be very uncomfortable if he should spend a lot of time with Sakura alone, but he always enjoyed her company and they have a lot of fun together. Even Naruto had to admit that Sakura is really cute. But luckily for Ino, his heart already belongs to her. Thanks to Ino's help of encouraging Sakura to embrace her large forehead, the pink-haired girl had gained a lot of confidence in herself. Sakura Haruno is actually the only friend Naruto has that wasn't part of a shinobi clan. She came from a civilian family, whose mother is part of the Civilian Council of Konoha. Naruto may be a Senju now, but before he changed his name, he was just another civilian child like her. So in a way, he always felt that they are similar, and was able to bond with her on that level. Despite her mother's lack of fondness towards the Jinchuriki of the Kyubi, Sakura still wanted to be friends with the blonde Senju. Although her crush for him was a large factor to her decision. She still doesn't know that Naruto and Ino are together, but regardless, Naruto was very grateful for her loyalty and friendship. But there is one boy in his class, however, that for some reason despises Naruto with a burning passion, Kiba Inuzuka. The short-tempered and impulsive boy would occasionally try to pick fights with the blonde Senju to try to prove who's top dog. Kiba has been very envious of Naruto's natural charisma, and the fact that half the pretty girls in their class are practically in love with him. The other half, whose affections are still towards a certain Uchiha boy. Naruto just can't understand why Kiba is such a prick, a preferred word that Ino would describe him perfectly. Despite that, the blonde Senju tried to be friends with him, but the impulsive Inuzuka spat on his offer of friendship. Literally. Kiba had an ego the size of the Hokage monument, and he would rather make a rival out of the Naruto than be his friend. But what makes him even angrier at the blonde is that his Ninken, Nindog, and most trusted friend, Akamaru, actually likes Naruto. The Inuzuka clan are known for their use of Ninken as fighting companions. The members are given their own canine partner when they reach a certain age. Thereafter, the shinobi and their dogs are practically inseparable. So seeing Akamaru willfully lets Naruto and his friends play with him absolutely boils the blood of the envious Inuzuka boy. He felt that Naruto was stealing all the attention away from him. Kiba has always been very boastful of his superiority and believed that he was the most popular boy in the academy. But before Naruto came, it was never true to begin with. Because Sasuke Uchiha was the true, top dog, and the bane of every screaming fangirls. Kiba thought that he could deal with Sasuke alone, but now with Naruto, he won't stand for it. He wanted to prove that he and his clan are superior to the Uchiha and the Senju. Academy, training ground. Iruka is now standing in front of his students, ready to address them of their class activity. Alright everyone. Today we will begin today's class with our annual shinobi sparring sessions. Remember, this is a sacred shinobi tradition of Konoha, not an opportunity to street fight. I must also remind you that you will start by forming the seal of confrontation to your opponent before the spar begins. Once your spars are over, I expect you to show the proper respect to your winning or losing opponent by forming the seal of reconciliation with each other. Iruka had briefly explained to his students of the traditional combat training method that has been passed down for generations in Konoha as a training method for academy students. I have already prepared the list of your sparring partners through random selection. Remember to only use taijutsu. This is a spar, not a battle. Iruka said with a firm and authoritative voice. Each student now has their own thoughts going through their minds. Yes. This will be a great chance for me to show who's top dog. If I can beat and humiliate either the Senju or the Uchiha, no one will ever disrespect me again. And I will be the one surrounded by girls, instead of those two punks. Thought by the ever so vile and envious Inuzuka boy. I know Hinata is the best in taijutsu in our class, so I definitely want to fight her. But I am actually hoping I can spar with the Senju guy too. See if he really does live up to his name, thought by the cool Uchiha, as he is hoping to get a decent challenge in his sparring session for once. His eyes are completely focused on both Hinata and Naruto. Eep. Sasuke-kun is looking at me. Does that mean he wants to fight with me? Maybe he thinks I'm strong. Hinata couldn't help but blush and smile at her near-accurate assumption that her crush definitely thought she is strong. Thank God Naruto-kun helped train me with my taijutsu. I'll be a laughing stock if I get my butt kicked so easily. So far only Hinata can beat me, which I am totally fine with it, a little. I mean, she's a Hyuga after all. Taijutsu is their thing. So no one can blame me for losing against her. Right? Ino asked herself in worry, feeling her pride is always on the line every time she has to spar with the timid yet unbeatable Hyuga girl. But then another thought came to her mind. Wait. What if I have to fight Naruto-kun? He'll definitely kick my ass in front of everybody. He's the one who trained me, for crying out loud. But wait. Maybe if I show him my puppy dog eyes again, he'll definitely won't. Who am I kidding? He's always been dead serious every time we trained. Ino thought hopelessly, as anime tears fall down from her eyes. Naruto is often very sweet with his Ino-chan, but when it comes to her training, her kind loving boyfriend immediately became her hard-ass sensei. Troublesome was the only obvious thing Shikamaru could think of. I have to fight someone now. I'm a little nervous, thought by Choji, as he had always hated confrontation. I am hoping I can fight with Naruto-san. Why, I ask? It's because friends challenge each other all the time. Thought by Naruto's newest pal Shino, who is liking the idea of finally sparring with a friend. I hope I can fight with Naruto-kun. Win or lose, I can still do the seal of reconciliation with him. Hi, thought by the blushing Sakura as she was squealing in her mind at the thought of locking fingers with her blonde crush. This could be fun, was all Naruto could think of. For matches later. Match 5, Sasuke vs. Random Student equals Sasuke wins. Match 6, Ino vs. Random Student equals Ino wins. Match 7, Shikamaru vs Choji equals draw. Both surrendered without trying. Match 8, Shino vs Random Student equals Shino wins. Match 9, Hinata vs Sakura equals Hinata wins. Kiba is impatiently waiting for his turn. And when his name finally came out, along with his opponents, he screams and howls like a mad dog. He finally gets to fight his most hated rival, Naruto Senju. Naruto is cursing his luck. It's not that he is scared or anything, it's just that now he has to humor the prick, who is constantly screaming his ear off with insults and disrespect. He knows he promised his Gigi that he won't go overboard, but he will be damned if he lets an opportunity to beat some sense into the disrespectful dog boy's thick skull slip away. The 10th and final match. Naruto and Kiba were facing each other in sparring ring. Naruto stared at Kiba with a bored, unamused look, while Kiba is grinning his teeth with excitement of finally putting the Senju boy in his place. Best you quit now, loser. There's no way you will win against me. Kiba boasted, his voice filled with arrogance. Naruto remained quiet as he stares into space. Too scared to talk, huh? Well, don't worry, I won't hurt you if you just admit that I am better than you. Kiba said with a proud smirk. Ha! Did you say something? Naruto simply said with a bored voice. Elsewhere, Kakashi's apartment. Kakashi and Anko are both snuggling on the couch together after a long week's mission. Anko's back was currently leaning against Kakashi's chest, as he wraps his arms around her waist, while she holds the Ika Ika Paradise book on her hand, for them to read the famous erotica together. It was a peaceful moment, until Kakashi suddenly sneezes. Yo! Don't sneeze on me, baka! Anko yells out with a disgusted look. Bless you, would be nice. Kakashi says, with a bored tone, as he wipes his nose. Yeah, bless your gross germs. If I get sick, you're treating me to dango, 4 weeks. Are you okay though? She asks with a hint of worry in her voice. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just felt like someone is using my catchphrase, Kakashi said, as he looked around and wondered who said it. Is it the one where you space out and not pay attention to someone who is taunting you, just to piss them off? I think so. I always hated that. Why? I never use it on you. Oh yeah. The first time we sparred, what did I call you? Anko asked to test his claim, as she puts the Ika Ika away, to look at Kakashi with a focused glare. Trick question, you didn't call me anything. But you did say the size of my hair was a sad compensation for my overly small, ****. Member. Okay, on our first date, I said something about hoping to defeat you in a duel, one day. How did I describe said defeat? You said you wanted to strip me naked and have your snakes bite all my sensitive spots. Ha, and you said I'm the pervert Anko-chan. Clearly you're the biggest pervert between us. Ah, Kashi-kun, you remembered. My big bad softy you. Anko says with a smile, as she hugs the silver-haired ninja. Ha, is it so bad that I'm a softy when it comes to you? Kakashi says with his signature eye smile. No, not even a little. Anko says before pulling down Kakashi's face mask to tenderly kiss his lips. The sweet kiss eventually turns into a full-on passionate makeout session between the hormone-filled teens. Kakashi made a mental note to thank whoever used his catchphrase later. Back to the academy, Kiba and Naruto's match. You punk. Have you been ignoring me this whole time? I'm going to beat you to a pulp. No one disrespects me and gets away with it. Kiba said, gritting his teeth in anger. Naruto-kun is so cool. You can do it, Naruto-kun. Kick his butt, Naruto-kun. Naruto's fangirls showed their loving support very loudly, causing a certain platinum blonde to be annoyed. Geez, for once I actually agree with my boyfriend's fangirls. I hope he beats that prick's ass was all Ino could think of at the moment. Kiba is now enraged more than ever. It's bad enough that his rival had been ignoring his taunts, but now all the pretty girls are cheering for only the blonde Senju, and telling him to beat Kiba up like he was nothing. The Inuzuka's pride has taken its last toll, and this match has now become more personal for him. This is the 10th and final spar, between Naruto Senju and Kiba Inuzuka. Will both fighters please present the seal of confrontation? Iruka says as he stands between the two boys and raising his right arm up, indicating that he is about to give a signal to begin the match. Naruto and Kiba then raise their right hand in front of their chest, and form the half seal on their fingers. Hajime. Begin. Iruka yelled out and dropped his arm down, signaling the beginning of the fight. Naruto immediately took his defensive stance, as Kiba charges head-on. His attacks were filled with blind rage and resentment towards the blonde Senju. Kiba didn't even see it coming, as when he was a foot away from Naruto, and pulling his fist back for a hard punch, Naruto landed a swift roundhouse kick to Inuzuka's left cheek. The kick was strong, but it wasn't strong enough to knock Kiba off the ring, but it was enough to shock everyone else from the impressive display of quick reflexes and skill. Everyone except Ino, as she already knew what her blonde paramour is capable of. Kiba pulled himself up after a minute of trying to digest what just happened. His blonde rival managed to land the first hit, and it was strong one too, as he could feel his cheek building up a bruise. Naruto didn't even look fazed by the kick, as he calmly retook his taijutsu stance, and waited for Kiba to make his move. Tell me something, Kiba. Why do you resent me so much? I haven't done anything to you, and yet you showed such animosity towards me. Naruto asked. You haven't done anything to me. You come here one day, and steal all the spotlight for yourself. You think you're so cool, because you're a Senju, is that it? Well, I'll show you. I'll show everyone, that the Inuzuka is much better than some has-been clan. Kiba yelled out with rage and disgust in his words. Naruto almost twitched at the level of arrogance and disrespect Kiba is showing towards his grandfather's and father's clan. It is bad enough that they are nearly extinct, but now Naruto fears that the new generation will continue to fossilize their honor, just because there are not much Senjus left in the world. He manages to calm himself down, and looks straight into Kiba, with his piercing violet eyes. This isn't a battle between clans, Kiba. This is a shinobi spar, between two academy students. You showed great pride for your clan. I respect that. But disrespecting mine out of petty jealousy, you not only bring dishonor and shame to yourself, but your clan as well. Naruto, say a calm and serious tone. How dare you? Kiba yelled out to the blonde Senju. I dare, because it's the truth. Pride helps build our identity, Kiba. But if you let it fill your ego, you will never become someone who deserves respect. So until you learn to respect others, don't expect me or anyone else to respect you. Plus, you're a prick. Naruto still kept his calm demeanor, but couldn't help himself for adding the last sentence to put more fuel into the fire. Kiba's eyes were burning with rage, as he then lets out a loud yell that almost sounded like a roar. Aha! The Inuzuka charges once more at the Senju, his attacks are filled with even more rage than before. Naruto decided to let the Inuzuka vent out his misplaced anger a little, so he won't be landing another swift kick to the arrogant boy's face that could have put the match to an early end. Instead, he flawlessly blocks every single attack with minimum effort, and counters them with rapid swift jabs to Kiba's chest and ribs. Iruka was astounded by the show of skill by the Jinchuriki. He didn't know Naruto could be so talented in taijutsu. He made a mental note to himself, to give Naruto a chance, before judging him because of the fox. He was almost leaning towards to the terrible gossips regarding his blonde student, and if he did, Iruka wouldn't even consider giving him a chance. Kiba was getting tired and frustrated, as he keeps sending out blocked hits after blocked hits. He could feel his arms are getting bruised from all the strong blocks. Naruto would then attack his body to rid him more of his stamina and mobility. Kiba tried to kick Naruto on his left side, but it was a fatal mistake, as Naruto caught his leg and performed a takedown, landing the Inuzuka roughly on his back. Naruto then quickly bends down to one knee, right near the Inuzuka's head. Wing fist art, chain of jabs, Naruto whispered under his breath, before he unleashes a barrage of chakra-enhanced fast jabs on Kiba's face. Kiba couldn't do anything, as his face was being pummeled into the dirt. He lost consciousness after the 20th jab, causing Naruto to stop his assault and backing away from the dog boy. Iruka went to check on Kiba, and could tell that the Inuzuka was unconscious, and declared Naruto the winner. Winner, Naruto Senju. Iruka said with a slightly proud tone that the Jinchuriki fought with honor, and didn't use any needless brutality, despite the Inuzuka's disrespectful taunts. The girls were cheering his name out and congratulate him for his win. Ino was blushing her cheeks out for the display of her boyfriend's pure awesomeness. Despite being together for almost 5 months, Naruto could still make her feel like a schoolgirl who always gets flustered every time her crush does something cool. Sasuke was impressed. Now he wanted to test himself against the Senju boy even more. He will make him his rival, alongside Hinata. The Hyuga girl stared in awe for the blonde boy, and couldn't help but think that Naruto's winged fist was slightly similar to her clan's gentle fist. Maybe Naruto can help make her strong too, she believed. But Naruto didn't feel like a winner, as he somehow felt a little guilty because he knows where Kiba's jealousy was coming from. The Inuzuka just wanted to be acknowledged, and prove to himself and others that he is worthy. He just didn't do it the right way. Iruka then lifted up Kiba's unconscious body and brought him to the academy's infirmary to get some medical treatment. He informed everyone to go back to the classroom and wait for him until her returns. Academy Infirmary, 5 hours later. Kiba finally opened his eyes, and saw that he was lying on one of the infirmary beds. He recalled what happened during his one-sided fight with Naruto, and felt great shame in his heart. It was a humiliating defeat in front of his peers. He felt angrier towards himself than his blonde opponent. Naruto fought like a true shinobi, while he attacked like a wild animal. Kiba was disheartened, feeling like he was the loser all along. And deep down, he knew he was. Like most of his peers in his class, Kiba is a clan heir. But compared to them, he was the dead last. Even Shikamaru and Choji did better than him in their studies, and they are known to be the class slackers. Kiba boasted about his superiority because he felt that he needed to. He wanted to feel like he mattered, especially among his female peers. But their attention was always shown towards the Uchiha boy instead. Sasuke is the best in his class, and Kiba wanted to prove that he was better than him. But no matter how hard he tried, he still couldn't beat him, or be on the same level as him. But he still had hope that he could one day. Then Naruto showed up. He didn't even need to try hard, for all the girls in his class to instantly fall for him. Not only that, but he is part of a legendary clan of one of the 2 founders of Konoha. Kiba absolutely refuses to let someone else steal what's left of his spotlight. He thought Naruto was just a weakling, who is only riding on the coattails of his clan's name to get what he wants. But how wrong he was. Naruto is anything but. Naruto is actually very intelligent. He was almost as smart as Sakura Haruno, and she is the best when it comes to book studies. And what happened earlier today proves that Naruto was also a talented fighter as well. Kiba knew that Naruto was barely trying during their spar. He never felt so weak and worthless in his entire life. He doesn't even know how to compete with the Senju and the Uchiha anymore. He then heard the infirmary door opening, and who walked in was the last person he expected. Senju. Hey Kiba. If you come here to gloat, can you please leave? No, Kiba. I'm not here to gloat. I'm here to see how you are doing. Why do you care? You won. I lost. You're better than me. Is that what you thought the spar was all about? To prove that we are better than the other? Yeah. What else? Ha 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 ha. Naruto couldn't help but laugh softly for the Inuzuka's lack of knowledge of the matter. Kiba grew a thick mark on his head for the sudden laughter. Is Naruto making fun of his intelligence? What's so funny? Kiba yelled out, causing the blonde Senju to slowly stop his laughter and tell him the reason. Kiba, do you know why Iruka-sensei says that the spar is a sacred Konoha tradition? It's because this village was built by many shinobi clans. Kiba calmed himself down so he could listen to the blonde Senju's explanation further. I mean, sure, the Senju and the Uchiha are the founders, but they needed more shinobi clans to make it a strong and sustainable village. Clans like the Sarutobi, Hyuga, Yamanaka, Nara, Akimichi, Aburame, and even the Inuzuka. All different shinobis, of different clans, with different traditions, would spar with one another to build friendships in harmony. To build something together, and be stronger together. Kiba was silenced, as he continues to listen with interest. That is what the seal of reconciliation is for Kiba. Because despite our heated confrontation, we can still reconcile and work together in the future. Because in the end, we are all part of the same village. One village. One home. One clan. I still hope that you and I can still be friends, Kiba. So we can be stronger together, just like our ancestors before us, Naruto said with passion in voice, and gave a bright smile to the Inuzuka. Kiba was silenced even more. He was completely wrong about Naruto. He was nothing like Sasuke. He didn't call him a loser, or made him feel like one. His words are sincere, and so was his offer of friendship. Kiba couldn't help but feel like a jerk. He was a prick. But maybe with Naruto's help, he could still be the shinobi he wants to be, and gain a cool friend in the process. You should really consider taking Iruka-sensei's job as an instructor. You're a lot less boring than he is. Kiba said with a smirk. They both shared a laugh together for the joke of their monotone sensei. As Naruto is about to leave, Kiba called out to him. Naruto, wait, Kiba said, before he extended his right hand, and formed his fingers into his half of the seal of reconciliation to the blonde Senju. Naruto smiled at the Inuzuka, as he forms his own half of the seal to meet Kiba's. Locking fingers with each other, indicating that they have finally ended their match properly, and reconcile as friends. Konoha is now facing one of its darkest hours. The legendary Uchiha clan is no more. Their greatest prodigy and clan heir, Itachi Uchiha, had betrayed and slaughtered his entire clansmen including his own parents in one single night. But he left only one survivor, his little brother Sasuke. Sasuke was deeply traumatized by the overwhelming level of loss and betrayal. He witnessed the entire event through Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan's greatest genjutsu, the Tsukuyomi. His dear big brother had apparently lost his mind, as he told Sasuke that this was all to test his skills. This was enough to enrage Sasuke as he subconsciously activated his One-Tomo Sharingan for the first time, and attacked Itachi in vain before fainting from the intense shock. But before he fell into unconsciousness, Sasuke could have sworn he saw tears coming from Itachi's eyes. Afterwards, Sasuke was never the same again. The young Uchiha may not be the social person before, but now he was as bad as Shino, pre-meeting Naruto, or even worse. He has completely cut himself off from everyone around him. Including Hinata. The Hyuga girl was very worried about her crush. He had stopped showing up in the academy or talked to her for months. She wanted to go to him, to see if he is okay. But she was afraid that Sasuke will be mad at her for disturbing him. But their precious friendship was in danger, and she refuses to lose what she already has with him, before she can even tell him how she truly feels. But she needed help. She needed Naruto's help. The blonde Senju had become very close with Sasuke ever since the Uchiha challenged him to a friendly spar. It was an epic fight for academy-level standards, but eventually, Naruto was declared the winner. Sasuke was surprised as he had never lost a fight to anyone his age before. He developed a great sense of respect for the blonde, and vowed that he will beat him one day. Afterwards, Naruto and Sasuke had actually become very good friends, and the blonde Senju would often invite both Sasuke and Hinata to have lunch with him and his group. Naruto had grown very close with the Dojutsu duo. It took a long time, but the blonde was able to help Hinata out with her stutter, and Sasuke with his insecurity issues, of being compared to his prodigy of a big brother. They both saw Naruto like a very supportive big brother figure, despite being the same age as them. Naruto was very wise for his age, and showed great compassion towards others. His determination always managed to inspire the people around him to be better. If Sasuke is going to listen to anyone, Hinata has no doubt that he will listen to Naruto. Naruto's apartment. Naruto had invited Ino over to his place to help her with her ninjutsu studies. The platinum blonde girl was frustrated as the topic was proven to be very difficult for her. But she was determined to be the next Kunoichi of the year so she can be placed with the same team as her blonde paramour, who she doesn't doubt that he will be the next rookie of year. Ino-chan, you do know that there is a high chance that we might not be on the same team together. I mean, I'm sure it's already been pre-planned that you will be placed on the same team with Shikamaru and Choji, to form the next Ino Shikacho, right? Naruto asked, trying to lower Ino's expectations, so she won't be too disappointed if they are not placed on the same team together. Oh please, they can try to separate my whiskers from me. I'll burn the academy down if I have to, Ino says in a matter-of-fact with a smirk in the end. I didn't help teach you the Phoenix Flower Jutsu so you can burn down our school, Ino-chan. Besides, with your chakra reserves, you'd be lucky to start a fire at all. Naruto said with his smirk in the end. Well, excuse me, not everyone has a giant fox living in their stomach, who is constantly giving you chakra boost after chakra boost. Ino said in annoyed tone. Aw, don't be jealous, Ino-chan. Naruto said teasingly. Flashback. Naruto had finally told Ino about his burden after a year into their relationship. He brought her to the Hokage monument to enjoy a nice picnic to celebrate their anniversary. The moment was finally perfect, and Naruto knew it was time to tell her. He broke it down as slowly as he could, until he finally reveals to her one of his biggest secrets. His voice was shaky, and was filled with worry. Ino was completely shocked. She has always been curious as to why the adults in her village treated her wonderful boyfriend with such distaste. Knowing that he was a container of a chakra monster was a real eye-opener for the Yamanaka. As she was still trying to process the major information bomb she had just received, Ino could see a great fear in Naruto's eyes. The fear of being rejected by her. It finally made sense to her now. Why he was so afraid to tell her the first time she asked him. She heard many terrible stories about the Kyuubi, and a small part of her would be scared of him too. But Naruto Senju is not the Kyuubi. Naruto Senju is not a demon in human form. Naruto Senju is someone who she absolutely couldn't keep herself away from. The moment they met, the moment they felt that spark, Ino knew that Naruto is the man of her dreams. They were always together, and they will always be together. That is what she truly wanted. She placed both her hands on his whiskered cheeks, and pulled him closer, for their lips to meet. The kiss was very sweet and tender. Naruto could feel the love and emotions rushing from her, as he returns the kiss with the same amount. Feeling himself melting in her warm embrace. That was the moment they knew that they were meant to be together. End flashback. I'm not jealous, Baka. It's just that it's not fair, that you will never have to worry about chakra exhaustion, while I could still drop to one knee the moment I shoot one stupid fireball. Ino said in a frustrated tone at the sunny blonde boy. Ha ha ha, well, I'm sorry. I guess involuntarily being a walking prison to the most powerful bijou in the world can be a real hassle to other people, Naruto said with a sarcastic tone. But Ino realizes how she said her words, and immediately felt bad. Shit, Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that, Ino said apologetically. What? No. Ino-chan, I was joking, it's actually pretty nice. It's nice to hear someone else actually believes that being a Jinchuriki is a good thing for once. I bet Kurama is gloating in his forest right now. Naruto says with a bright smile to show Ino that he wasn't bothered. Naruto's mindscape. Don't involve me in your silly human relationships, boy. But your mate is correct. Being a Jinchuriki is very beneficial for a shinobi. But then again, it's good for you, but bad for me. Oh come on Kurama, it's not all bad. I already removed the seal between us, and turned my mindscape into a beautiful giant forest, instead of that depressing sewer. And I reward you with more of my chakra. And I must say, I'm very impressed with your progress. Keep this up, and you just might gain access to my Ninetales chakra mode in a couple of years. Really? Cool. Back to the real world. Naruto-kun. Hello? Ino yelled out, as he waves her hand in front of Naruto's face. Ha! Did you say something? Naruto said with a confused voice. Don't you pull that crap on me. Are you talking to Kurama again? Ino asked, as it has been happening frequently lately. Oh ha 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 yeah, sorry about that, Ino-chan. Naruto rubs his head sheepishly. Sigh, one of these days, I'm going to learn my clan's mind transfer jutsu. And when that happens, you can no longer space out on me again. Ino said with determination. Come on, Ino-chan, do you really want to read my mind so badly, just because I space out on you sometimes? Naruto asked out of worry, not liking the idea of her being in his head all the time. That, and I want to meet Kurama. So I can finally beat up that jerk, for always taking your attention away from me, Ino said with a confident voice that she could take on a bijou. Haha, Naruto started laughing hysterically of what Ino just said. This caused the platinum blonde's right eye to twitch heavily. Hey! What's so funny? Ino yelled out to her blonde paramour. I'm sorry, he's laughing in my head. Naruto says between his laughs. Ino then glares at Naruto's stomach, indicating that she is actually glaring at Kurama. It was a very weird look, from a third point of view, and got even more weirder when she starts yelling at it. Naruto couldn't stop laughing for his blonde girlfriend's silliness, as she continues to yell at his stomach. Even Kurama is still laughing out loud in his head. The yelling and laughter finally stop, when they heard knocking coming from the front door. Naruto went to answer it, and who he saw was a very pleasant surprise. Hey Hinata, what are doing here? Naruto asked with a smile, happy to see a friend of his. Naruto-kun, I need your help. Hinata says, hint of desperation in her voice. After Hinata explained her grave concerns about Sasuke to both Naruto and Ino, the blonde duo decided to accompany the Hyuga girl to the Uchiha compound. Uchiha compound. The trio walked into the compound, and felt a cold chill crawling up their spines. The compound was a complete ghost town. The streets were still stained with dried blood, and there are still kunais and shurikens all over the building walls. It didn't take too long for Hinata to understood why Sasuke was never the same afterwards. Her own clan may not be the most warmest people in the world, especially the elders of the main branch family, but even she would not wish this for any of them. Sasuke has lost his entire family, in one night, by one man. He was completely alone. This is terrible, is all Ino could fearfully say, as she tightly held Naruto's hand. I know. What happened here, Sasuke is going to need our support more than ever, was all Naruto could say. That is why I need you to talk to him, Naruto-kun. He's always look up to you, and I'm sure. Hinata was unable to finish her sentence, as Naruto cut her off early. I don't think I can, Hinata, Naruto said sadly. What? Hinata was shocked of what Naruto said. Hinata, Sasuke is in so much pain right now. No amount of words I say will miraculously change how he feels. I don't know anything about his pain, neither of us do. We don't know what it feels like, to lose everything. At least not yet. Naruto said with a grim tone. So what are we supposed to do? We leave him all alone to drown in his pain. I can't do that. Hinata surprisingly yelled out, refusing to leave her crush in such a state. I didn't say we leave him. I just think that maybe I'm not the one who he needs right now. He needs someone who knows him so much better than I do. He needs you, Hinata." "Me?" Hinata asked with a small blush on her cheeks. "Yeah, Hinata. You have been his friend far longer than us. You know him much better than we do. The fact that you wanted to come here, just to help him, proves that you are his true friend. I'm sure he will appreciate it." Ino added in, to show her support for the Hyuga girl. "But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't want to talk to me anymore, and treats me like the other girls in class? Like I annoy him now, just because I care? I don't think I can handle it." Hinata said with fear and sadness in her voice, at the thought of being rejected. Naruto then places his hand on her shoulder, and looks straight into her eyes as he told her. "Hinata, you will never know, until you try. Believe in yourself." "Like I believe in you," Naruto said with a bright smile at the Hyuga girl. "Okay," Hinata said, who was still a little hesitant. But if Naruto believes in her, it's enough already. Outside Sasuke's house. "Remember, we'll be out here if you need us," Ino said to ensure her Hyuga friend. As Hinata walks through the front door, and was about to knock on it, she notices the door was already unlocked. She slowly opened it, and saw Sasuke sitting by the stairs, staring into space, with a bunch of boxes and bags right next to him. The old Hokage was generous enough to find him a new home in the village. A large apartment that was sponsored by the civilian council. Sasuke wanted to get as far away as possible from the grim empty house where his parents were murdered. But this was his home. The place where he grew up. He didn't know if he wanted to stay or leave. So he just sat there on the staircase, wondering what he should do. Until he notices Hinata walks in. The Uchiha boy said nothing, as he continues to stare into space, practically ignoring her. Hinata was sad that he didn't acknowledge her presence, and felt very nervous for the pending conversation. But she pulled herself together for the sake of her dear friend and crush. She then walks forward and sat next to the brooding Uchiha on the staircase. "Hi. I know you probably don't want to see or talk to anyone right now, but I know you are hurting. I know you are in so much pain right now. And I wish I can tell you, I know how you feel and everything is going to be okay, but I can't. No one can. I know that. Sasuke-kun, I am so sorry for your loss. You don't deserve this. Your clan didn't deserve this. I understand why you isolate yourself from everyone. Because it's better to be alone than be surrounded by people who don't even understand you. I'm sorry I can't be the person who understands you too, but I really miss you, Sasuke-kun." Feeling her sincere words were falling on deaf ears, Hinata got up from her seat, and was about to leave, until she felt Sasuke's hand grabbing hers, stopping her from taking another step. "Did you know that he told me that I wasn't worth killing? That my life meant so little that he couldn't care less if I lived? Did you know he used his Sharingan to show me what exactly he did that night? All the lives he took. Our parents. He killed them like they were nothing. But in this genjutsu, I was in his place instead. I held the sword. I felt their blood on my hands." He repeated the genjutsu, over and over and over and over and over and over again. He took everything from me, just to test himself. I want to kill him, Hinata. I want my revenge. I will do whatever it takes to be stronger. I won't stop until he's dead. I will hate him for the rest of my life, if I have to. But I will kill him. He needs to pay. Sasuke-kun, do you remember what Naruto-kun used to say to us? When he told us about his dream to bring true peace to the shinobi world? Revenge will only lead you to the cycle of hatred. But what does he know? Naruto-kun won't say any of this if he himself hasn't experienced it too, Sasuke-kun. You know that better than anyone. Ino once told me that Naruto-kun had a very hard life growing up. And despite all the hardships, he became very strong, because he stayed true to who he is. Naruto and I are very different people, Hinata. That is not true. You two have a lot in common than you think. That is why Naruto-kun and you are able to become best friends. Hinata said with a smile. Is that why Naruto and Ino are outside? I asked them to come with me. Why? At first I wanted Naruto-kun to talk to you. You always valued his opinion, so I thought he could help you out with your pain. Then why is he out there, and you in here? Because Naruto-kun thought it wasn't his place. He thought I was the best person to help you. I guess the dobe is a lot smarter than he looks. Sasuke said with a weak smirk. Hinata was confused, as she waited for him to explain more. Naruto might be my best friend, but you are much more than that to me, Hinata. I really miss you too. Sasuke said with a small smile at the Hyuga girl. Hinata was blushing her cheeks out for what her crush had told her. She was trying very hard to not faint, but eventually build up the courage to do something a little bold. Hinata then pulls Sasuke into a tight hug. Sasuke was still numb from his trauma, but he happily returns the hug to his dear Hyuga friend. The Uchiha was in a very dark place, emotionally speaking. If Hinata hadn't come, he would have continued to fall into the pit of darkness that he was already drowning in. Hinata was his light, she always has been. And he was glad to have her by his side. Sasuke finally decided to move out of his old home. Hinata, Naruto, and Ino were more than happy to help their friend with all his belongings. Sasuke won't admit it, but deep down, he was very glad that he still has people who are sincerely there for him when he truly needed it. Sasuke then vowed on that day, that instead of revenge, he will get answers. Itachi will pay regardless. But before that, he needs to answer for his crimes. He will face justice, and Sasuke can finally restore his clan with honor. The day has finally come for the blonde Senju and his friends to take the Genin exams. It is truly their first steps into the shinobi world. While most of his peers thinks that by being a shinobi, will be a life filled with adventures, heroic battles and glory, but Naruto knew better. While he would not discourage his friends and classmates, the Senju boy knows very well about the reality and the life-threatening dangers that lurks in the shinobi world. The blonde Senju has been tirelessly training for years, but even he knew he still wasn't ready to face the likes of Madara Uchiha. He needed more field experiences, if he is ever going to survive against his most powerful enemies. Naruto is now 13 years old, along with all his classmates. And true to his favorite ramen waitress's words, he had grown quite taller than he originally was. Naruto was about 5 foot 5 inches tall now. His blonde hair has grown quite identical to his father's, as a bit of it is now blocking parts of his forehead, with 2 bangs that reached a little past his ears and framing his face. Naruto is now wearing a mesh armor t-shirt underneath his open high-collared maroon jacket, with 3 black stripes on his rolled-up long sleeves, and a black-colored Senju clan symbol on the back. He also wears fingerless gloves with metal plates on the backhand, and a pair of black Anbu pants with medical tape covering his ankles near his shinobi sandals. Naruto thought he looks like a mixture of his 2 older sibling figures, Kakashi and Anko. Despite still being hated by most of the villagers because of his burden, Naruto had many good things going for him at this point. He was handsome, smart, and surprisingly very powerful for someone his age. He has many close friends that he cares for, and a beautiful girlfriend who he adores, and adores him. Ino had grown quite a lot as well. Her long waist-length platinum blonde hair is now worn in a ponytail, with bangs framing the right side of her face. Naruto thought she looked more beautiful than ever. Ino is now wearing a purple outfit consisting of a high-collared blouse and matching apron skirt. She sports this attire with bandages on her abdomen and legs, and wears a pair of small hoop earrings and white arm warmers. The blonde duo had greatly matured in their long-term loving relationship. Naruto had finally mustered enough courage to meet Ino's parents for the first time. Her mother was surprisingly very kind to him, which was a major relief to the blonde pair. But her father, on the other hand, really didn't like the idea of his baby girl dating. Not dating the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails or anything personal against Naruto, just dating in general. Naruto even helped Ino master her first fire-style ninjutsu. 1. Phoenix flower C rank offensive equals the user spits a volley of small fireballs into the air. At a glance, it can appear as though there was only one fireball that then burst into many. The many small flames move wildly through the area, potentially mesmerizing targets as they're surrounded. The user controls each individual flame with their chakra, allowing them to guide each at the target and, consequently, making this Tekuhik difficult to evade. This jutsu alone took Ino almost half a year to master, as she needed to build up her chakra reserves and practice her fire chakra exercises first. Naruto really trained her to a brink that she almost cried and hated him, but she knew in her heart that her sweet whiskers was just making sure that she can protect herself in the future. Regardless, she was still able to learn and master two of her clan's secret Tekuhiks from her father. 1. Ninja Art. Mind transfer C rank supplementary equals the user converts their consciousness to spiritual energy, which they send at a target. Their consciousness moves slowly towards the target and travels in a straight line. If the user misses their target, it will take several minutes for their consciousness to find its way back to their own body. To prevent this from happening, the mind transfer should only be used against targets that are stationary or that are restrained. When their consciousness does successfully make it to the target, the user supplants the target's mind and takes total control of their body. 2. Ninja Art. Mind transmission C rank supplementary equals the user is able to telepathically communicate with other people who are near their proximity. Using this Tekuhik, the Yamanaka may also act as a medium for persons to communicate with one another telepathically. This is done through establishing physical contact with the person. The user can communicate with multiple people at once, and the targets can also communicate with one another while the Tekuhik is in effect. And true to her word, she actually did use the mind transfer jutsu on Naruto to meet his tenant. But when she saw Kurama for the first time in Naruto's mindscape, she instantly hid herself behind Naruto's back, as her legs were turning to jelly at the mere sight of his glare. But Kurama ensures her that he means her no harm, just as long she stays out of Naruto's mind, aka his house. The blonde couple has yet to reveal their relationship to everyone. But only those who knew them well, or could tell the obvious, knew the truth. But regardless, they are still very happy together. Shinobi Academy, Iruka's classroom. The classroom was slowly filling in with the eager potential genins. As they all took their seats, their longtime Chunin instructor Iruka Umino, and his assistant Mizuki, greeted them all with warm smiles and some inspiring words of motivation. Most of students are already starting to lose their enthusiasm, due to Iruka's boring lecturing tone. But Naruto, on the other hand, was looking suspiciously at the scared Chunin's assistant. Naruto always had a bad feeling when it comes to Mizuki, ever since he unlocked the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's natural ability to sense negative emotions such as hostility, hatred, and other evil emotions within others. He found its suspicions, as he always thought the white-haired Chunin to be very polite and kind-hearted. But he can only assume that Mizuki is one of those people who are secretly prejudiced against him because of the Kyuubi, and hiding it behind a fake smile. But nevertheless, Naruto continues to observe him like a hawk, making sure he doesn't pull anything on him. Okay class. We will now begin with the written portion of the exams. Iruka says, as he and Mizuki handed out all the tests to the students. Mizuki wanted to make sure that he was the one who handed Naruto his test. The smirking Chunin placed a small genjutsu on it, so the questions will be 10 times harder for Naruto, and even if the blonde did know the answers, it will only be the correct answers for the fake questions. Naruto could literally feel all the intense malice coming from Mizuki when he handed him his test with a fake smile. Naruto may not have a Sharingan or a Byakugan to see through genjutsus, but his natural sensory ability is able to tell that there is chakra all over his paper. He subtly made a single hand sign, and dispelled the genjutsu immediately. Now he was able to see the real questions, and it wasn't as hard as he thought it was. Naruto was able to pass the test with flying colors, which displeases the white-haired Chunin badly, as he gritted his teeth in anger for his failed attempt to sabotage the blonde Senju. Now, we will move on to the practical portion of the exams. First, we shall do the kunai and shuriken throwing test, follow up with a taijutsu sparring session with your Chunin instructors. Iruka said as he leads all the students outside to the academy courtyard. Academy training courtyard. Almost all of the civilian-born students perform adequately with the kunai and shuriken test, but nothing beyond amazing. Sakura did a lot better however, as she was able to get a 7 out of 10. Now it was time for the supposed clan heirs and heiress. Sasuke was the only one able to get a 9 out of 10. Hinata, Ino and Shino were able to get an 8, while Shikamaru, Choji and Kiba were able to get a 7. It was finally Naruto's time to shine, but instead of Iruka bringing in his set of kunais and shurikens like everyone else, it was Mizuki who insisted on bringing in his. Naruto picked up a single kunai and shuriken for inspection, and he was not surprised to learn that they were extremely dull. He couldn't even cut himself with them if he tried. Placing a genjutsu on his written test is one thing, but giving him faulty weapons in his practical exam is a clear sign of hostile intention and sabotage. A part of him wanted to voice out and request for a new set, but he also wanted to show the white-haired saboteur, who he is truly messing with. He picked up all the weapons and channeled wind chakra into them. As he threw them all simultaneously, not only that they hit their marks perfectly, but they went straight through the targets. Everyone's eyes were widened, their faces were shocked and awed, including Iruka and Mizuki. Naruto's aim was not only true, but his throwing arm was deadly as well. His female classmates, including Ino and Sakura, loudly cheered his name out for his awesome display of pure badass. Naruto was the only one to get a perfect 10 out of 10. Naruto then turns his head slightly and saw that Mizuki was still gritting his teeth in anger, that his attempt of sabotage had failed once again. Okay class, now we will move on to our sparring sessions. You will each have a taijutsu spar with Mizuki-san here. If you are able to last 3 out of 5 minutes against him, you pass. But on the unlikely chance that you can beat Mizuki-san, not only you will pass the test, but you will receive extra points as well. Iruka says, with a smile. Some of the civilian-born students were a little sloppy in their spars, as they could barely hold off against Mizuki's light attacks. Sasuke and Hinata were able to reach the maximum 5 minutes. Ino and Kiba lasted 4 minutes, while Sakura, Shino, Shikamaru and Choji were able to reach the minimum 3 minutes. It is clear that the last 4 needed more training with their taijutsu. Last but not least, is everyone's favorite blonde, and one of the 2 banes of screaming fangirls. Naruto walks into the sparring ring with Mizuki, and once again he could feel the overwhelming hostile emotions coming from the white-haired Chunin. Mizuki was holding back a lot of killing intent towards the blonde Senju, but he was barely trying. He really wanted to hurt Naruto, and judging from his smirk, he would enjoy it. But Naruto refuses to let Mizuki have his way anymore. Maybe it was time for him to remove Mizuki from the exams once and for all, before he does any other sabotage attempts against him. Iruka stands between them, as he raised his arm up, ready to start the match. Hajime, Iruka yelled out, as he brought his hand down. Mizuki didn't waste any time as he charges fiercely at Naruto. Naruto took his defensive stance, as he continues to block the not-so-surprisingly heavy attacks from the white-haired Chunin. Naruto knew there was a time limit to the fight, so he didn't want to waste any more time on the smug Chunin. After blocking another punch, Naruto swiftly jabbed Mizuki's throat, causing him to choke for a moment. Afterwards, Naruto continuously sends a barrage of quick jabs to the Chunin's gut, causing him to lean his body forward. Naruto then proceeds to front flip behind Mizuki, and elbow strike both the Chunin's back knees to drop him down hard on them, to meet the blonde boy's size. And as Naruto quickly spun around in front of him, the blonde grabs the Chunin's head and sends a devastating knee strike to Mizuki's face, breaking his nose, and knocking him out unconscious. Iruka was once again shocked and awed, and so was everyone else. Naruto had actually beaten a Chunin in a taijutsu match, and it was a devastating defeat. His classmates were still in a state of shock and awe. There was no cheering whatsoever, not even from his fangirls, who are still staring at him, with big hearts in their eyes. But Sasuke and Kiba made a mental note to never piss off Naruto again. Back to the classroom. Naruto was now surrounded by all his friends. Holy crap, Naruto! That was awesome! Kiba yelled out. Yeah, Naruto-kun. You were so cool! Sakura added in with a heavy blush. Indeed. It was quite a spectacle, Naruto-san. Why is that? It is because you have beaten a Chunin, Shino says with his logical support. **** remind me to never be your opponent, Naruto. Fighting against you will be too troublesome, Shikamaru said lazily. Fighting against anyone else is already too troublesome for you, Shikamaru. Ino yelled at her lazy friend. He's not wrong though, Ino. Even I don't want to fight against Naruto after seeing what he did to Mizuki-sensei. Choji said with a hint fear at the thought of fighting his strong Senju friend. Looks I need to increase my training even more if I ever going to beat you, Dobe, Sasuke said with a smirk. Don't worry, Sasuke-kun, I'm sure you will be just as strong as Naruto-kun someday. Hinata says, with a gentle smile, trying to support her crush. Guys, come on, you're embarrassing me. Besides, you all did great too, you know. Naruto said with an embarrassed blush on his face. Yeah, but neither of us managed to defeat Mizuki-sensei. Especially the way you did. Ino said to her blonde paramour. Yeah, Naruto, I know it was a spar and all, but I think you broke the guy's nose. Choji said, as he cringes at the thought of his sensei's nose. Ha, sorry, I guess I got a little carried away there, Naruto said as he rubs the back of his head sheepishly. A little? That's it, I'm never fighting against you. I prefer to keep my nose. Shikamaru said lazily. The group of friends shared a small laugh, even Sasuke joined in a little, until Iruka finally came into the room, to announce the final exam. Alright everyone. Now it's time for the ninjutsu exam. As a gentle reminder, each student must successfully perform the transformation jutsu, the substitution jutsu, and finally the clone jutsu. Remember, you must produce at least 4 clones to graduate. I will call out your names by alphabetical order, and once I do, you may proceed to the examination area. Good luck. Iruka then leaves the room before calling upon the first student the examination area. Alphabetically? Well, this might take a while. Naruto said a little nervously. Not for me. My name starts with a C. Geez, I'm so nervous that I'm hungry now. Choji says sadly, as he rubs his emptied belly. Don't worry, Choji. I'm sure all of us will do just fine. Shikamaru says to trying to reassure his best friend. You're right, Shikamaru. Besides, if I pass, my mum told me she'll cook a big feast, just for me. Choji says, with a bit of drool escaping his open mouth. That's nothing. My mum says she will teach me a new jutsu when I pass, hehehe. Kiba says confidently, and excited to learn his clan's signature tekuhike. My father said he will have a surprise for me if I pass. What do I think it is? I can only assume a pleasant family dinner. Shino said logically. My mum told me she'll make me a cake if I pass. Hi, I hope it's vanilla, Sakura says with a giggle at the end. Ino was smiling at her friend's happy conversation, until she noticed that Naruto was suddenly feeling down at the mention of their friends' exciting plans to celebrate with their families. Sometimes even she can forget that her dear Whiskers has no real family, because he always looks so happy. But in reality, he was always sad that he has no one to come home to. Seeing him look so sad made her feel sad as well. She felt like she just wants to give him a big hug just to cheer him up. Even Hinata notices the same reaction with Sasuke. Ino looked at Hinata, and the latter looked back at her. They then nodded at each other in agreement, thinking that they have the same idea. Hey guys, how about after the exam, we all celebrate together? Maybe at that barbecue restaurant that Choji likes so much, Hinata says shyly, as she plays with her fingers. Yeah! It'll be fun. We'll be together for one last time, before we are separated into teams. And who knows, it might take a long time before we see each other again. Ino added in casually, trying to convince her friends to celebrate with Naruto. I'm fine with it, Sakura says happily. You had me at barbecue, Choji says with a little drool, thinking about barbecue. It might be troublesome for my mum, so count me in, Shikamaru says surprisingly happy to piss his mum off. Well, I guess I can always learn my mum's jutsu later. Kiba says like he didn't mind. He just hopes that his mum doesn't take back her offer. I am in no hurry. So it is acceptable. Shino says with his logic. So Naruto-kun, what do you say? Want to join us? Ino asked the depressed blonde with a bright smile. Naruto knew what Ino was trying to do, and he couldn't help but smile at her sincere gesture. He didn't want any pity party from his friends because of his loneliness, but he also appreciates that she didn't use that as the main reason for them to spend time together. Sure, count me in. Naruto says with a warm smile at his Yamanaka girlfriend, who in turn smiles back at him. Sasuke-kun, do you want to join us? Hinata nervously asks her crush, hoping that she can have an opportunity to spend more time with him. Whatever. Sasuke says, with a lazy smile. Sasuke has been a little bit more open lately, thanks to the support from both Hinata and Naruto. While he wasn't a fan of group gatherings, the brooding Uchiha still doesn't have the heart to see Hinata sad or disappointed. Seeing her smile when he said yes, made him smile as well. One by one, each student had been called to the examination room, but Naruto became more nervous than ever. Because he knows for a fact that there is no way in hell he can perform the clone jutsu thanks to his Kage-level chakra reserves. Despite his overwhelming training with chakra control, the blonde Senju was lucky enough to create 2 clones. But 4 was already too much. The amount of chakra needed for this jutsu is too small for him. It will be like trying to fill a small glass with a large pool of water, without spilling a drop. Naruto Senju Iruka called out his name from the speaker. Naruto finally heard his name, as he then begrudgingly made his way to the examination area. Examination area. When Naruto walks into the room, he saw Iruka sitting behind a large table with 4 other chunins between him. On their table were many brand new Konoha headbands. When Naruto saw the beautiful cloth and metal, he couldn't help but smile, as he always wanted one, ever since he decided to become a shinobi of Konoha. His smile faded when he saw one of the chunin's face. Correction, broken face. Mizuki managed to discharge himself from the infirmary early, and is now sitting behind the table next to Iruka, glaring daggers at the blonde Senju. His face was slightly bruised, and his nose was heavily casted and covered in bandages. Naruto couldn't help but laugh behind his throat at the pathetic sight of his saboteur. But Mizuki noticed the laughter, and his glare intensified. Damn demon! Laugh all you want, you little punk. There is no way you will pass the clone jutsu. And when that happens, my plans will come into fruition. Ha ha ha, and when you bring me what I want, I will finally kill you and rid this world of your evil. You damn demon. Mizuki thought with a cunning smug, thinking that the Jinchuki will no doubt fail, and he will use him to steal from the Hokage himself. Alright Naruto, you know the drill. First, we will start off with the transformation jutsu. Whenever you are ready, Iruka instructed. Naruto nodded, as he made a single hand seal and transforms into the first person that popped into his head. His legendary grandfather, Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage. In all his blue armored glory. Lord Second. It was all Iruka could say. Iruka was dumbfounded, as he didn't know that Naruto knew what the second Hokage looks like. Iruka went to inspect the transformation to see any flaws, and found none. It was the perfect copy of the second leader of their village. Excellent work, Naruto, Iruka says with a smile. Now, please perform the substitution jutsu, another chunin requested to the blonde. Naruto then made a few hand seals, and switched places with Iruka. Iruka is now standing where Naruto stood, and Naruto is sitting where her Iruka sat. Tada, Naruto says like it was no big deal. I didn't mean switch places with me, Naruto. Iruka said, with an annoyed tick mark on his head. Well, there aren't any random wooden logs around here, aren't there, Iruka-sensei? Naruto pointed out with smirk, trying to defend his actions with a smartass comment. Fair point. Mizuki, please remind me to stock up the examination room with some wooden logs next time, Iruka told his assistant. Will do, Iruka, Mizuki says with a fake smile, but secretly cursing both the scared-faced Chunin and the Jinchuriki. Naruto went back to where he stood, and Iruka retook his seat. Okay Naruto, now it is time for the clone jutsu, Mizuki said with a fake smile, but inside he was smirking and laughing maniacally at the Jinchuriki's pending failure. Naruto took deep breaths for this one, trying to rid away his nervousness, but then he remembered the last-minute training he had with the third Hokage 2 days ago. Hokage's office, 2 days ago. Naruto-kun, thank you for coming at such short notice. Hiruzen says, with a smile, at his blonde apprentice. No problem, sensei. I was planning to visit you sometime soon anyway. Naruto says happily, at his grandfather figure/sensei. I'm surprised that you don't call me Gigi anymore. I kind of miss it. Hahaha, don't worry. You're still my Gigi. I just won't call you that when you are on duty or in the office. I appreciate your sense of respect, my boy. You truly are your father's son. But now on to business. You will be taking the Genin exams in 2 days, correct? Yes, sensei. Well, I'm sure you are aware that you need to perform the clone jutsu to graduate. Yeah, but I still can't get past 2 clones, and I know I need 4 to graduate. So I'm kind of fucked here. Language. Sorry sensei, it's just really hard to perform that stupid jutsu when you have so much churka. I understand how you feel, my boy. Even I can't do that stupid jutsu anymore. But regardless, the clone jutsu has always been part of the Genin exams, and even I can't change the rules, just for you. Then, what am I going to do? I only have 2 days left, and it took me a month just to make 2 passable clones. I said I can't change the rules. But, I never said, I can't bend it a little for you. What do you mean, sensei? Well, according to the rules, it says that you need to perform a clone jutsu to graduate. But it didn't specifically say the basic clone jutsu, just a clone jutsu. So, what you are saying is... Exactly, my boy. How would you like to learn another clone jutsu? A better clone jutsu. One that is perfect for someone with your chakra reserves. And did I mention, it was created by your grandfather? So, you interested? Hiruzen said with smirk in the end. Sensei, when you already made the sale, stop selling. Hell yeah. So what's it called? Hahaha, it is called. Back to examination area. Naruto opened his eyes after remembering the training he had with the third Hokage. And a confident smile appears on his face. Whenever you are ready, Naruto, Mizuki said with a fake smile, but laughing inside for the impending failure of the demon in front of him. Naruto saw right through Mizuki's fake smile, and couldn't help but smirk at the new prick in his life. The blonde Senju then made a cross sign with his fingers and yelled out. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. A large gathering of clouds suddenly appears, and when the smoke cleared, there were 20 Narutos standing before the shocked-faced Chunins. What? Impossible. How is the demon able to perform such a jutsu? Mizuki practically yelled out in his head. Naruto, are those? Iruka asked, still in awe. Shadow clones, Iruka-sensei. Solid copies of yours, truly. Naruto said with a smile. Impressive Naruto, never before I seen an academy student perform a B-rank jutsu with such ease. Iruka said with pride for his student. Boo, but it is not the clone jutsu that is required to pass, right Iruka? Mizuki stated nervously, hoping that his claim is correct, and the demon had failed. Actually, the rules says that he needs to perform a clone jutsu. They never specified which clone tekuhike exactly. So the academy simply choose the basic clone jutsu as a default, since it was the lowest level clone tekuhike for the students. Iruka defended Naruto's results. Congratulations Naruto, you graduate, Iruka said with a proud smile, as he handed Naruto his headband. No, oh no. Mizuki yelled in despair, in his head. Yes. Thanks, Iruka-sensei. But I hope you still remember our promise. You did say you would treat me to ramen if I pass. Well, I hope you just got your salary hi, Naruto said, as he happily took the headband from Iruka's hand, and wore it proudly around his forehead. Please have mercy on my wallet Naruto. Iruka said with anime tears starting to fall from his eyes. Fine. I won't order more than 10. We'll do it tomorrow though. Tonight I'm celebrating with my friends. Naruto said with smile. Alright. I'll see you tomorrow, Naruto. Iruka said with his own smile at his secret, favorite student. Naruto then happily leaves the examination room, leaving a very angry Mizuki behind. Damn demon. My plan relied on him to fail. He must have cheated. Calm down Mizuki, the plan just needs to change, that is all. I need to find some other sucker then. These stupid kids would do anything just to pass these stupid exams. And once it is done, I will finally get the power I deserve. Ha. Outside the Shinobi Academy. As Naruto was proudly walking out to the academy entrance, he was immediately swarmed by his friends. Ino being the first, as she tackles him with a tight hug. Congratulations, Naruto-kun. I knew you could do it. Ino said with her bright smile, causing Naruto to blush heavily. He then noticed her Konoha headband, that was now tied around her waist, like a belt. Ha, thanks, Ino-chan. I knew you can do it too. So you guys were waiting for me this whole time, the blonde Senju asked, feeling very warm that his friends would wait for him. Of course, silly. We have a plan, remember? Plus, we're also waiting for the SES, too. Ino said. SES. Oh, behave Ino-chan, Naruto said with a teasing tone and a smirk. What, no? You baka. I meant our friends with their name starts with a S. Like Sakura, Shikamaru, Sasuke and Shino. Not that S, you pervert. Ino yelled, blushing bright red for her boyfriend's perverted assumption. Oh come on Ino, don't pretend you don't want Naruto's. Kiba didn't get to finish his sentence, as he felt Ino's large shadow over him. Kiba, I swear to oh God if you finish that sentence, I will neuter you, Ino said in calm yet sinister tone. Gulp was all Kiba could do from the fear of losing his manhood to the angry blonde. Naruto Kyuyun, yelled out by the happy Sakura Haruno, as she ran up and wrapped her arms around Naruto's neck from behind, while pushing her cheek against his. This causes Naruto to blush a little, and Ino's right eye to twitch. Look! I passed, Naruto Kyuyun. Do I look pretty with my headband on? Sakura asked while she poses cutely for her blonde crush, trying to get his feedback. Ino then activated her mind transmission jutsu with her blonde paramour, so she can speak with him in private. If you say yes, I'll throttle her, Ino says in Naruto's mind. But Naruto disregarded it, since he always has a soft spot for his pink-haired friend. You look great, Sakura-chan, Naruto complimented her with a warm smile. Damn it, Naruto-kun. What did I just say? Ino practically yelled out in his mind. Well, I didn't say yes, did I? Plus, I can't be mean to her, Ino-chan. She just wants me to compliment her, that's all, Naruto says in her mind, trying to prove it was just an innocent compliment. "Oh my sweet, sweet whiskers. So smart, yet so naive. Look at what you are doing to her already," Ino told her blonde boyfriend, to look at what his innocent compliment had done to Sakura. Naruto then saw Sakura blushing her entire face out, and eventually fainted from the sweet compliment of her savior. Yikes. Maybe I should cut back on my compliments a bit. This has been happening a lot lately, Naruto thought with a tired sigh, but Ino could clearly hear and agreed. Well, looks like the dope pass. Sasuke along with Shikamaru and Shino finally joins the group, with their headbands on, indicating that they have indeed graduated as well. Of course, Teimei. Someone has to make sure to kick your ass the second your head grows bigger, Naruto says with smile to his best friend. Teehee, I'm really happy you passed, Sasuke-kun, Hinata said with a blush, as she shyly plays with her fingers. Thank you, Hinata. You as well. Sasuke said with a small smile, to his favorite Hyuga girl. Sigh troublesome. I didn't even want to pass. The reason I even tried is because I kept hearing Naruto and my mum's voice in my head. Thanks to you, I'll have more work coming up soon. Shikamaru said lazily. It is best to think positive, Shikamaru-san. Why you ask? It is because Naruto-san will make sure you become the great shinobi he knows you can be. Shino said with his logic. Well, I don't mind the positive reinforcement, but can it be towards mediocre shinobi? Shikamaru asked, hoping his second best friend won't push him too much. No way, Shikamaru. You're a very smart guy, and I know you can be great shinobi if you just put a little effort into it. And as your friend, I am going to make sure you make it happen, Naruto said with a sincere smile, as he truly believes in his pineapple-haired best friend. Sigh troublesome blonde. Fine. But if you're not on the same team with me, you can forget about my greatness. 'Cause I'll be sleeping most of the time without your constant nagging. Shikamaru said honestly, as he knew without Naruto, he'll just go back to his glory days of sleeping around. Don't worry, Shikamaru, if you're on the same team with Naruto-kun and I, we'll make sure to always get you off your lazy ass. Ino said with smile, as she liked the idea of Naruto and her, literally beating the laziness out of the Nara. Hey! What makes you think Naruto-kun will be on your team, Ino? Sakura manages to gain back her consciousness, and overheard Ino's unfair assumption of her crush's team placement. Because it is destiny, Sakura. He and I are always together, and he and I will always be together. Ino says with a smirk, as he places her hands on her hips with confidence. While the two new kunoichis argue about who should be on Naruto's team, the rest of the gang shared a similar thought as well. They all view Naruto as their leader, even Sasuke, but he won't admit it. He was the one who brought them all together, and each of them would be more than happy to be on his team. The blonde Senju is not only smart and strong, but he inspires strength and unity as well. He was practically their Hokage already. While Naruto tries to calm down his girlfriend and his favorite fangirl, he saw a blonde girl with glasses running past them, crying with disappointment. Naruto recognizes her as one of his classmates. He looked at her retreating figure and could only assume that she didn't pass the exam like everyone else. He immediately felt bad for her, and thought maybe he should help. But then he felt the same emotion of malice radiating somewhere around him. He recognizes its stench easily. His eyes narrowed as he continues to wonder. What are you up to, Mizuki? Naruto says quietly under his breath. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if and want to see next part of it, comment down below and let me know. Also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.